Okay, now, hopefully this gives off more of a cozy vibe. I am rocking the thermal. Um, it's a little wrinkled, but I'm around the house. Like, I think I'm allowed to wear a wrinkled shirt for a YouTube video. So, I'm the only one I know that watches the Oscars every year. And in this video, I'm just going to be kind of reacting and sharing my thoughts on all the nominees and the winners of the Oscars that just happened this past Sunday. What did I write down in my notes? I never write enough notes. Like, I'm always fucking off the top of the head. Or even when I do take a lot of notes, it's never like what I want to talk about anymore. I got a list of all the winners and nominees right here. And I think I'm just going to start by talking about the Best Picture, which went to Anora, starring Mikey Madison, written, directed, edited, and casted by Sean Baker. So he swept and he won every single award that he was nominated for. So it won for Best Picture, Best Director, Best Original Screenplay, and Best Film Editing. Shout out to Sean Baker. He's always been a big voice for independent film and embracing the spirit of creativity and art and self-expression and things like that. And I hate to get all like corny about like the arts of film, but there's a lot of great memories of like going to the movies and shit that I have as a child. So that's why I really like still going to the movies and enjoying these stories being told. And I sound like the fucking Nicole Kidman commercial at the beginning of the AMC. But all that shit in a weird way is actually true, where movies do spark a lot of conversation for me. Most of the movies that have affected me and really made an impact on like the way I see the world or things that I've gotten introduced to because of a movie, whether it be certain types of music or certain types of people or certain places and certain cultures and things like that, those kind of things being represented in independent films, to where it's not this curated expression by a big film studio, to where it's these personal stories being told and these personal and such small film crews making these films, to where it's really just a group of friends together making movies and enjoy the craft of filmmaking. And it's super fucking cool. And Sean Baker is one of those dudes, clearly, because he directed Tangerine, which is all shot on an iPhone. And that's kind of what made it famous, was that it was all shot on an iPhone and it was all like natural lighting and things like that. It was all like in LA, in certain like liquor stores and certain like donut shops and things like that. Like it's a very like intimate story. If you go on YouTube and look up all the speeches that Sean Baker gave after each award, they were all very intentional, and especially the speech that he gave for Best Director, I believe, where he talks about going to the movies and the importance of it and telling these personal stories and not trying, and all the shit that I'm saying on these YouTube videos, he said it at the fucking Oscars. He's in that fucking theater in front of all these actors, all these executives, right? Like everyone is there. Everyone in Hollywood is in that building, and is saying this knowing that people are watching and that there's a lot of pressure on the Oscars because there's the big viewership. And you know, the whole thing with Will Smith happened a couple of years ago, so there's certain things they want to go viral for and certain things they don't want to go viral for. Oscars are technically owned by Disney because it's shown on ABC every year. But anyways, Anora, I'm really happy that Anora won, because it's a great film and it did win the Palme d'Or, which is insane because I think only like 3 other movies have done that. And Parasite is one of them, which is also acquired by Neon. For the people who don't know, the Palme d'Or is like the highest award you could win at the Cannes Film Festival, which is one of the most prestigious like film festivals in the world. I'm just going to go in the order that Google literally tells me of all the awards and shit. But Best Actress won by Mikey Madison. Like I said, all the awards that Honora was nominated for, it won for. It was really cool seeing her win the award because, one, she gave like a super big shout out to like the sex worker community, which was really dope. I love it when people win awards and like use their platform, their literal platform, to say something in front of a large audience. It was cool, but it's cool seeing her win the award because seeing her, the first time I've ever seen her was in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood. She was part of the Manson family. And that movie, if you watch it again, a lot of the Manson family, you know, cast members are all like in the mainstream now. And it's super cool to see Quentin Tarantino just doing his thing. Mikey Madison winning, I'm not mad at it. Demi Moore, the fact that she was nominated is so dope. I also love it when the Oscars have a horror film nominated. It was really dope seeing Get Out in the Oscars like a while ago. Just every time, it's always sick. Nosferatu didn't really win anything, and it fucking sucks. I wish. Love that movie, and it was obviously in one of my best films of the year, but it just sucks it didn't bring home any. But the Best Actor award went to Adrian Brody for The Brutalist. And this one is an interesting one because at the SAG Awards, Timothée Chalamet won Best Actor, and his speech was one of the best speeches I've ever seen for an acting award.
I know the classiest thing would be to downplay the effort that went into this role and how much this means to me, but the truth is this was 5.5 years of my life. I poured everything I had into playing this incomparable artist, Mr. Bob Dylan, a true American hero, and it was the honor of a lifetime playing him. And lastly, I can't downplay the significance of this award because it means the most to me. And I know we're in a subjective business, but the truth is I'm really in pursuit of greatness. I know people don't usually talk like that, but I want to be one of the greats. I'm inspired by the greats. I'm inspired by the greats here tonight. I'm as inspired by Daniel Day-Lewis, Marlon Brando, and Viola Davis as I am by Michael Jordan and Michael Phelps, and I want to be up there. So I'm deeply grateful to that. This doesn't signify that, but it's a little more fuel, it's a little more ammo to keep going. Thank you so much.
And I know that wasn't at the Oscars, but it made me excited for the Oscars for sure. That speech is an example of how I feel about the Oscars. And like, it doesn't signify anything like if it actually is great or anything, but you kind of have to look at it as if Allen Iverson didn't win any rings, but he's still a great player. But Michael Jordan won 6 and he's the greatest of all time, and Bill Russell won 11 and no one really kind of cares. For him to go up there at the SAG knowing he's nominated for the Oscars as well, to say that in front of the entire Screen Actors Guild is pretty ballsy. And I respect it because it's definitely going to fire up all the other actors in that room. It makes you excited for Timothée Chalamet's next role, which is probably going to be that Josh Safdie movie, unless he comes out with something that he already filmed. But I hope it is that Josh Safdie movie, and I hope he does get nominated for that. And it's just really cool seeing him talk and say that the obvious thing to do would be to downplay how much it means to him and how much the role meant to him. To speak so kind of transparently and so bluntly, it's just super dope. But it sucks because when the Oscars happened, Adrian Brody did win, and I'm sure that win felt a lot better knowing that Timothée Chalamet was sitting across the room wanting to fucking win. So Adrian Brody, he's one of the GOATs. He's done so many great roles. I love him in like any Wes Anderson movie. Shout out to Adrian Brody for winning Best Actor. Go watch the review from my past couple videos. I did a review on The Brutalist. It was a fucking insane performance. Since I saw the film, I actually like can't stop thinking about it. I think at least once a day I think about that movie still. It's fucking just real quick, I'm also really glad that The Brutalist won Best Cinematography. All the things I loved about The Brutalist it won for. This kind of brings me to my next award next category that I'm going to talk about. Best Director, which was won by Sean Baker. I don't disagree with it. I do think what Sean Baker did using this like handheld style, shooting on 35 millimeter, shooting on location and things like that, that is not an easy thing to do. What Brady Corbet was doing in The Brutalist and the production design he had to manage to make it feel like it's the fucking 40s and you just arrived on Ellis Island, and the magnitude of doing that and the life-changing choice that is to get on a boat and go across the fucking ocean and not knowing if you're gonna make it or not. That opening scene of The Brutalist is the most powerful fucking thing I've ever felt in a movie theater. And this sounds like I'm like ramping up to be one of the best things I've ever seen, but that's how crazy that movie felt, how big that story was, and shooting a classic American epic. It's not an easy thing to do. And even if you do complete doing that, it's not easy to make it a cohesive, great film that's 3.5 hours long that people are willing to sit through. It's such a great film. And because I fucking love the 3.5 hour movies about an immigrant brutalist architect coming to America, and it's like, yes, I want to watch that. That's my bag. I don't give a fuck. Like, call it boring, call it fucking slow or whatever. I don't give a fuck. This is my shit. I hate to like pull that card like, oh, go watch a Marvel movie, but like, for real, like, you don't know what the fuck you're talking about. Like, if I don't know, maybe I'm tripping. I don't. That doesn't even matter. I think Brady Corbet should have won, but I am not mad at all that Sean Baker won, because I'm glad he was able to give off that speech. And it was great that Quentin Tarantino was the one presenting it to him, because it's kind of a full circle moment, which Sean Baker mentions in his speech, is that if it wasn't for Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, he wouldn't have casted, or even, I don't know if that introduced him to him or if that's the reason he casted Mikey Madison, which just won her an Oscar, which is just, it's so great. And Zoe Saldana won for Best Supporting Actress. I'm just going to be real. I didn't even see Amelia Perez. I didn't hear any good reviews about it. I saw the trailer for it. It didn't even feel like a real movie. And I just, nothing about it just kind of, it just didn't feel for me. Because like, there's just sometimes like I'll watch a movie trailer. Like, there's that one movie with Rami Malek coming out that they just keep on showing the trailers for in the movie theater, and it's just never gonna touch it. Like, it's just not my bag, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, sorry, Zoe Saldana. The clip they showed, the little clip of her acting when they present all the nominees, it seemed great, and I love when they do that. I love when they show the clips after every single nominee, but I hate it when they don't show like the right part of the movie. I wish I one day I want to be able to curate, what the Oscars show as far as the clips. You know what? Fuck it. I'll do it on my own show next year. But anyways, Ariana Grande was one I actually thought was going to win this award. I was like fully convinced. I didn't like Wicked. I did see Wicked in theaters. Wasn't a fan. But I really thought Ariana Grande was going to win, because I thought she deserved it. The person who did win, I didn't see the movie. That's kind of always a bummer, because I can't really be as like happy for them. But like, shout out to Zoe Saldana. She's been in the film industry for a minute. She's been in Avatar, all the Marvel movies and shit. Like, she's been grinding for a minute, and now she finally has an Oscar. She could retire and be considered one of the GOATs, like, for sure. She could probably be in a couple like A24 movies, and she'll be like nailed down like greatest actress alive. Kieran Culkin won Best Supporting Actor. Kieran Culkin won Best Supporting Actor, which I'm really happy for. I thought his speech was really funny, talking about like, if he won, his wife said that they could have another baby, and like it. But In a Real Pain, Kieran Culkin gives such a great performance. It's so like neurotic and anxiety filled, and it's actually a performance that really made me cry. I was talking to my sister about the movie after I saw it, and I was saying how Kieran Culkin's character reminded me of myself, and kind of how my, and I don't want to get like too like touchy feely on here yet on the YouTube channel. I don't think I'll ever be that vulnerable on here, but anyways, Kieran Culkin's performance, I'm glad it won an Oscar, because that performance is one that really moved me, and I couldn't stop thinking about afterwards as well. So that is a well-deserved Oscar. The other nominees in the category were Guy Pearce for The Brutalist. If that won, I get it. That performance was one of my favorites of the year. Guy Pearce is the fucking man. Like, any performance he does, he always kills. He's never had a bad performance. Like, I feel like now he's having sort of a renaissance. So like, hopefully we see him in a lot more shit soon. Challengers was my favorite score of the year, but obviously that wasn't nominated. But the fact that The Brutalist won, I think, was super dope. The dude who did it, I didn't know he looked like that, and that, it kind of caught me off guard. The Substance won for Best Hair and Makeup, which, like I said, I love it when horror gets involved in the Oscars. because it's cool seeing this white elephant art be tarnished by this termite art. Something that's supposed to be very classy and easy to consume, seeing something like the substance be involved in there, especially in hair and makeup, it's so dope seeing it recognized. Really happy it won, because that is going to go down in history as one of the best Oscar wins ever, because of horror being a genre that a lot of like higher end film critics, whatever you want to call it, especially like, I guess not anymore, but like definitely before, like horror still has its stigma, but that's just within the nature of horror. So Dune didn't win anything except for best sound and best visual effects. It's just a bad year to release Dune. It was supposed to come out the year before, and I feel like it would have swept the Oscars. But the strikes and COVID just affected everything about the production of Dune, and it still is what it is. It's still a great film, two great films. Because the popular movies don't necessarily win anything, but like the Oscars, it's the epitome of self-indulgence. So I feel like they're not going to give like praise to the $200 million CGI films. Like that's not what, like the makeup artists and the craftsmen and the production designers, they don't fuck with Marvel and fuck with Dune because it's all green screens. Like they don't work, like there's no work there. It's all like visual effects or sound design. It's all really a digital media for Marvel films as far as creating them. The films that get recognized in the Oscars are the ones that are technically sound films, and Marvel movies, and Dune really isn't that. Dune is, I believe, one of Denis Villeneuve's many masterpieces, but I just feel like the Academy isn't going to recognize shit like that when The Brutalist is being made, and Honora, Nickel Boys, and I'm Still Here, and all the other nominees. But I don't get how like Wicked wins some when clearly Dune is better. Like, you know what I mean? But it is what it is. Let me know what you guys think in the comments. Next week I'm gonna be talking about Mickey 17, the Bong Joon-ho film starring Robert Pattinson. Gonna be talking about that. Very excited for the film. Highly recommend you guys go and watch it. It's Bong Joon-ho's first film since Parasite, which he won Best Picture for a minute ago. So I'm going to be talking all about Bong Joon-ho films, Robert Pattinson, and Mickey 17 and the film itself. So, yeah, go ahead and like and subscribe and share and all that cool stuff. So, yeah, peace.